Deep into your soul, take.
Hello, can you hear me? I gotta turn my Zoom notification off. Hello, hello, Bibi.
Hi, good to see you.
Thank you. I was gonna say good morning, but I realized that it's not morning for you. So
Yeah, it's afternoon. Sure. Where are you from exactly?
I'm in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
I,
Warm temperature.
I know. I was like, this is so exciting. I'm doing a Zoom with an amazing person from halfway around the world.
Yeah, yeah. It is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, shall we begin?
absolutely. I'm ready to dive in. I'm excited for this topic.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too. And thanks for this opportunity. It's great to talk with with you and about this sensitive topic, because there are a lot of people that want to talk about this, but it's so hard to talk about these issues in public. And yeah.
Yeah. So the topic that we're referring to is the connection between thyroid struggles and low libido or low sex drive or even no sex drive. So well, do you want to begin with just introducing yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So it's Bibi. I am from South Italy, and I lived in the US for 2 years and a half, and now I'm back home. And I was diagnosed with Graves' disease in 2015. I'm not really sure, 2015 or 16. Anyway, it was really, really hard for me because at the beginning, all the people around me believed that were sure that I was depressed or that I was about to have a nervous breakdown, but that there was nothing dealing with, thyroid or other things. So a lot of months passed, and then my doctor decided to, prescribe some, blood tests. And I had some blood tests, and they discovered that I had Graves' disease. So I didn't know anything about this disease at that time, and I discovered most of the things on Graves' disease later on. So I just, treated Graves' disease and took pills and took medication, and that's it. And then after years, I started making research on the theme, and I decided to, create my page in order to share my thoughts and, even humorous content about, how to deal with the disease and other things, because Graves can be really destructive as far as social life, sexual life are concerned. So then I went to the US and then came back because I studied there. And then I came back to Italy because, my disease was having significant impact on my tranquility. And so I had decided to, after my master, I decided to come back home because I felt better here. And so then I had orbital decompressions here, which is a procedure or surgery that is performed when you have thyroid eye disease, which is another issue strictly related to Graves' disease. So,
What's the name of that surgery?
excuse me?
What was the name of that surgery?
Yeah, it was orbital decompression, and it's a surgery that is performed when you have thyroid eye disease, which is, a disease that causes exophthalmos. And my exophthalmos was not significant, but for me it was enough because I wasn't able to recognize myself in a mirror. And for example, as far as sexual life, social life are concerned, my social life and sexual life were deeply affected by thyroid eye disease, more than the symptoms of the hyperthyroidism, which are connected to Graves' disease, in the sense that you start losing your self-esteem. You're not able to recognize your face, your look in the mirror, which makes things very hard because you don't want to see people. You start isolating yourself, and you don't want to see friend. And you know, even your relationship and my relation with my partner was affected by my you know, feeling. I have to say that in my personal experience, thyroid eye disease was had a major impact on my social life and sexual life, rather than the symptoms of hyperthyroidism, which had an impact as well.
Right.
Because, you know, for women, you can have, I mean, there are a lot of men that who have like erectile dysfunction, for example. Most of the testimonies that I've been collecting come from women. And a lot of women talk about like painful intercourse or low libido, as you were saying, for both genders, of course, but also like depressive symptoms. Depressive symptoms that, of course, are connected to, you know, the symptoms, all the symptoms that are included in the spectrum of the symptoms of this disease. Low sex drive, or for example, there's a woman who texted me that she is even bothered, even though she loves her partner, she's bothered by his touch. So there are people who haven't had sex for years, for example. So people who are happy and glad to, you know, be in that relation, but they cannot have sex because, you know, even as far as, for example, lubrication is concerned, you know, you can have problems relating to lubrication. So you cannot have satisfying intercourse. This, not to talk, for example, about brain fog, for example. Brain fog is another incredibly crazy symptoms of Graves' disease, because you cannot even think, you know, fantasy, imagination that are, you know, key elements in sexual life, but also even in, you know, engaging in a conversation with a person. You know, you make connections, you make, you know, you think you, but it's very hard to stay in your place because you feel that your body is going very fast and you cannot, you know, stay at the same, you cannot keep the pace of your body. So, yeah.
You touched on a lot of really important points. And I'm sorry you went through that. And I appreciate you sharing all of that information with us. I have had many experiences similar to you, but with my hypo and my Hashimoto's. So I'll give you a little of my backstory.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed, I started feeling the effects of something bothering me in around 2007. I started noticing that I was reacting to food. So just intuitively, because I didn't like the way I felt, I started cutting out dairy and gluten, and with success. That always helps you feel better. And then in 2009, I had just a sudden onset of symptoms, very sharp pains in my arms, my elbows, my knees, extreme fatigue. Didn't know why. I thought it was something from my job, like carpal tunnel, or because I had a very physical job, so I was just tired, and I was a mom.
Yeah.
And so I did not have insurance, medical insurance for my job anymore, because it was right after the 2008 crash. And I was scared because I had no way of going to the doctor. I felt like I had no way of going to the doctors. And so my best friend at the time was my manager. So I asked her if we could do a workman's comp, because I really did think it was for my job, insurance claim, so I could go to the urgent care and talk to a doctor. So she was totally cool with it. And when I got to the doctor, I told him what was going on, and he just leaned back in his chair and he goes, "Let's check your thyroid." And I was like, "What?" What? And so he's sent me down the room, drew some labs, and was like, "Yeah, your TSH was really high, and you have hypo. Follow up with the primary, go get some medicine," and then walks out of the room. It's very just slam, close the door, bye, and you just sit there going, what? I call that being hit by a freight train. So that's how my experience started. I figured out how to get insurance, and then I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. And like you, I went through this system. I didn't understand or research anything about it. I just did what the doctor said, and they made me feel like, oh yay, just take your little pill every day and you'll be fine. So you're like, okay, this is weird, but I'm going to just do what the doctor says and take my pill every day, and, be like a good little patient and take it on time, and then go get your labs in 4 to 6 weeks and do the whole protocol. And I progressively started getting sicker and sicker and sicker. It was like, sometimes I was okay, sometimes I wasn't. And then funny you said 2015, because I was like, oh, that was my trigger year. In 2015 was when I hit rock bottom, and I just was sicker than a dog. I could not function. I had overwhelming anxiety. I couldn't drive. I couldn't.
So despite the medications, despite the medication.
I was on Armour Thyroid. And as I got sicker, all the doctor offered was to increase my dosage.
Okay.
And it never really mattered. I'm still just trying to cope and help myself. I was raised in a holistic environment. My mom, I was not even raised on dairy. I was like gluten-free, dairy-free as a child and didn't even realize it. My mom's dream growing up was to be like a fitness instructor, and she always wanted to go to school and major in fitness and be in the industry somehow. I never knew that as a child. She told me when I got my degree in fitness and health, I fulfilled her lifelong dream, and I was like, what? So I was eating cereal with orange juice as a kid. And so naturally, because I was raised going to health food stores and in vitamin departments, it was home and comfortable. So when I was feeling so anxious, I couldn't function, I was just losing my mind, I went to get some homeopathic lozenges, and I really treated myself through the vitamin department. I always looked at it as like that was my medicine. And so in 2015, I had to stop working, go out on disability, and I started paying tons of money to functional medicine doctors and compounded pharmacies, and doing all sorts of things I'd never done before, trying to dig deep. And that's when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And I got some answers along the way, but like you and the majority of the other women in the thyroid community, we are never really told what's wrong with us or how to fix us. There's always just, it seems to be like a mask type system. And I had to empower myself as well and start learning and learning and learning. And I too had low libido. I actually never thought about this until we started talking, and I reached out to some of my previous clients, and I asked them too if this was an issue that they were experiencing, because they never told me when we were working together. So I'm actually really grateful this has been brought to light, because I'm going to add this into my program now, that they have been struggling with low to no libido. And they're young. They're like late 20s. And they don't have the desires. The single ones don't even have the desire to have a boyfriend, because that's just gone, And I had a beautiful woman reach out to me after we talked, and she's terrified of losing her husband because she doesn't have a sex drive. And I was like, okay, this is not good. So I'm glad we're bringing this up, and I have a lot of insight into this topic that I can't wait to share.
Yeah, can't wait to. So please, I just wanted to say something relating to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So I think, as you were saying, that yeah, we learned about by ourselves, so about our disease, how to deal with the disease, because the thing that doctors most of the times doctors do is giving you medication to treat that thing, and then you decide to learn about your disease. And I I really think that environment is fundamental, is essentially as a key role in this kind of work of reconstruction of your person. So of course, the impact of this kind of diseases on sexual life is clear, but I think that, and I truly want to give this suggestion because it worked for me, it's important to choose for yourself the things that you want to do. Don't push your needs. Don't push the thing. Don't do things that you don't feel that you want to do, just to in order to behave in a certain way because the world is expecting certain things. No matter what, do what you feel in that moment, because doing otherwise, it may create frustration and can make the situation more complicated.
Right. So the way that, thank you for bringing that up. This actually wasn't something I was going to mention, but you saying that now, I'm like, okay, I got to say this. So I was married for 14 years during this time that I was getting sick and having all these diagnoses. And my husband had a very healthy libido. And he made me feel obligated and bad, and very much guilt tripped me um, for not wanting to have sex. And it was somewhat of an abusive relationship. And
Yeah.
I remember, first of all, I didn't want to be intimate because I was tired. The
Yeah.
fatigue that comes along with thyroid conditions, it just, intimacy felt like another chore.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the energy, especially, you push yourself through your day and you're telling yourself, I just got to make it through this next hour. I just got to make it back to bed. And then the last thing you want to do when you get in bed is exert energy with anything. You just want to go to sleep or just lay there and zone out on TV. So, always being propositioned and then having to be the person that turns them down, it makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel bad. So I love that you said that. I know it's hard not to feel guilty and bad, but it is important to protect yourself and
Definitely. Yeah.
try to not, because when you're bringing all those negative emotions into the situation too, of feeling worried, resentful, guilty, bad, that doesn't do any good for the situation and your health as well. So I wish if I could have gone back and told myself, I never had a loving conversation with him at the time to explain to him what was going on with me. I never sat him down and just said, look, I'm really struggling. I don't have the desire to do this. I'm tired. I don't feel well. Can you please be understanding? I'm sorry. I know this affects you, but I really just need you to be understanding about this right now. And so I don't, what do you think?
Yeah, sometimes you don't even, as we were saying, you don't even know what is going on with
Yeah.
you. So you're not even able to interpret, those symptoms. You just feel tired and you feel guilty because maybe it's just, this is not the way things are supposed to be. So maybe it's me. You are not even, I mean, the phase we were talking about this, like the phase in which you are able to see things from distance, from another perspective, and see clearly comes later, not in the moment. This is the reason why, like, doctors should have, should be more attent on this topic. And thyroid problems are so common, so this implies that there may be so many people suffering from this kind of sexual issues, social issues, these kind of issues that people don't want to talk about, don't like to talk about in public. They just talk about to the psychotherapist or to friends, or they don't even talk, as you were saying, about this to partners.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel that you want to turn them down or disappoint them, or so sometimes you feel you are kind of like you have to do that, and that's it, but it's not fair.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure on women to please their husband and keep them pleased in order to keep them in your bed, per se. And that's really sad and unfair as well.
Yeah. This has to do with a paradigm that needs to be changed as soon as possible, and because it's not acceptable to to think this way. But the word is also, our word is bizarre, so it's still made up of these contradictions and these issues, like they are everywhere, unfortunately.
Right.
So Sarah, I can't wait to know more about your
You ready to dive in?
Yeah.
Awesome. So the adrenal glands, just so everyone knows. So I love, as a coach, just so everyone knows, I'm a certified transformational nutrition coach, or CTNC. And I, like I said, I have a degree in health and fitness, and I have a very large background with my own experience of just being a total health nut. I started studying health on my own when I was 27. It was always like my side hobby. I would just read books and listen to things because I had, like I said, I had a really strong influence from my mom, and she's still to this day. My mom is 69 and goes to the gym every day.
Wow.
She's amazing. She's gorgeous. And her husband is 70 and he's a competitive bodybuilder. So, I love this stuff. And when I want to learn about things, I always get very anatomical, because if we understand what our body is doing, it helps us have some grace and some patience and some mercy on ourselves.
Sure.
Right. So, so on an anatomical level, what is your adrenal glands are above your kidneys. They're two little lumps of tissues, right? They're glands, located directly above your kidneys. I point in here because they're like kind of in the middle of your rib cage. Can you see me? Oh,
yeah.
Like right here. Yeah. Okay. So low libido is not connected to the thyroid gland. It is actually connected to the state of the adrenals. So just that right there was interesting to learn. And it's because the adrenals produce most of the female reproductive hormones, including estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So this means that adrenal health has a direct impact on a woman's libido and ability to conceive. So there are a lot of people that have low thyroid function, but have a healthy sex drive. The low sex drive is a direct result of the adrenal strength. So although you may not want a low libido, it is actually a protective mechanism built into women. I was so weird and like such a coach dork to my boyfriend the other day when I learned this. We were driving and I was like, I can't believe this. I'm like, how amazing are our bodies? Yeah. That there's actually a protective mechanism built in to protect us when our bodies aren't in a healthy functioning state to be able to endure childbirth, labor and childbirth.
Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, it
Right.
is.
So it's not, so the way I looked at it, I was like, okay, so we could reframe this situation and say, all right, thank you, body, for protecting me. I love that and I appreciate that about you, but what can I do to support you and get you better? Because this isn't necessarily what I want. You know, I want to be able to be intimate or conceive or, you know, have a beautiful baby. So I thought to myself, well, you may think like, what's it protecting me from? Okay. So in childbirth, the adrenal glands are in charge of producing hormones essential for your health, such as adrenaline and cortisol, right? We all know that. So when a woman is giving birth, she needs, in that moment, she needs just a shitload of adrenaline to be able to endure labor and push out a little miracle baby. Like, you are pure adrenaline at that point. And I've had 2 babies. So I can tell you 100%, I didn't sleep for 3 days. I was in labor for 3 days with my second one. I was so tired when it was ready to start pushing. And you get a burst of adrenaline. And that's what gets you through that moment because it's so hard and exhausting. And so I was like, wow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So if you're in a state of adrenal fatigue, then your adrenal glands shut down or turn off your sex drive to protect you. So given that 80% of women have adrenal fatigue, this makes sense why so many women are saying they experience this.
Yeah.
So you may be asking.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. I mean, your perspective on, you know, you reading this as a, you know, as a way through which your body protects yourself. It's incredible. And I think that it's very, very interesting also in light of the fact that I think that generally speaking, diseases are, you know, moments that they don't just happen. They happen there's a reason why they happen. I mean, you know, disease read from another perspective and seen from another perspective, you can read something in disease, you know. It's not just a fact. It's something that happens because once, maybe to protect, as you were saying correctly, you from yourself from things, you know, around, from the environment, from a, you know, an environment that can be very frustrating or complicated or difficult or anything, you know. And so I really like your perspective on and the fact that you underline these you know, reaction of the body. It's not, we are not functioning in a bad way. We are functioning well if our adrenal glands are not, you know, they are protecting us. So we are functioning well. Our body is functioning because the disease is the answer to a certain state of, you know, a certain issue.
Yeah. And I'm obviously not saying this pertains to everyone at all, because this was my situation. But like you said, with the environment and how I told you, I was in an abusive relationship. And I was trying to have a baby because I wanted another baby, but he didn't. And he was very mean to me about it. And I couldn't conceive. I couldn't. And I was like, so now looking back, there was a silver lining to that for me. You know, like you said, there's always a silver lining to disease. And I love that you say that, because in the 3rd month of my program, it's called Rewriting Your Happiness Story. It's what I labeled the 4 weeks.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much of that we have to dive into, and we go through traumas and where you got stuck, and a lot of meditation and just your heart and your soul, really healing that side of you too, and your environment. And every single client I work with, when I get to this point, there is a silver lining that we heal, that helps them move forward dramatically on their physical health. Yeah. And I'm always just like, wow, there it is.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, I feel like, that I have to be able to experience this with other people. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the sharing, the sharing that comes later in the process, because in the first moment, I didn't want to, share my stuff, my problems with other people. I tended to hide my problems. I didn't want to talk about these things with my partner, with my friends, with anyone. I just wanted to keep it with myself. Mm-hmm. But then, as you were saying, like the moment when you realize that there's some preciousness in sharing things, because you come to a phase, you enter a phase when you accept what happened, and you learn, and you try to see things from another perspective. And for example, me, I think that I am a better person than the person that I was before. And I have to be thankful. I'm thankful, and it is because of my disease that I'm a better person, because my disease helped me seeing things from another perspective. And going through pain, like black and terrible and unending pain, pushes you very slowly to the other side of the river. And when you arrive there, you see that, things can be different, and that maybe there was something, in your life that was toxic, and you were able, through your body, through your disease, through what happened to you, you were able to move forward and to change perspective and do something to, put things in another way. So I'm really glad to say this today. 2 years ago, I was like very depressed, and I was very sad, and I destroyed my relation with my boyfriend, but we loved each other so much, and we are back together, and our relationship is better than it was before, because I eventually started talking about my disease. And now I don't hide my feelings, about, I don't have my thyroid anymore, so things are easier to be managed. But now it's easier to talk about things, and this is thanks to my disease.
Yeah, I love that, and I love your perspective shift. Not everyone is there yet, but it does come. And mine came with a very traumatic experience, and I was not expecting it, because when I was sick, I felt like I had fought so hard and paid so much money and just wanted to be well so bad.
Yeah.
But it wasn't happening, and I just was done after, at that point, I think I was 8 years in to being super sick, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I just said, fine, you can have me. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care if you give me thyroid cancer and kill me. I'm just done. I can't do this fight anymore. And I succumbed.
You gave up.
I succumbed to the illness. And then my brother, who had been in prison for 10 years, we were so close. Best friends from birth. We were 2 years apart. He was released from prison, and I thought he was okay, and because he put on a really good fake front, He actually also had hypothyroidism, and he was struggling and hiding it, just like you were saying. He was hiding it from me. He was hiding it from everyone, and it quickly turned into a drug addiction because he was so tired. But he had like a demanding job. He worked on air conditioning and heaters, HVAC, long, 14-hour days in the heat, and he started doing methamphetamine for energy. And it just spiraled him down into a massive crash with the police, and the police shot and killed him suddenly one night. And it was that trauma and that loss that shifted my perspective and woke me up.
Yeah.
And I looked around and was like, I'm not happy. And I started doing all these different things to change my life. And that's how I ended up becoming a coach. I went through all kinds of things. I decided I was going to get to the root cause of my illness and reverse my illness. I decided I was going to divorce my husband. I decided I was going to go back to school. I made all kinds of decisions, and it was because of my illness. And then that perspective shift that really saved my life in the end. And I'm very, very, very grateful for it now.
Well, thanks for sharing this. Thank you. I'm sorry for this, but traumatic experience are sometimes, most of the times, I think, if not always, are like an important shift to move on and change perspective.
Yeah. So I want to get back to
sure,
my list really fast, so we can try to keep it at an hour. All right. So if your adrenals, so now I wanted to just talk a little more about like general adrenal fatigue and what it is, and how to recognize if you have it. So if your adrenals are functioning irregularly, you might experience weakness, lack of energy, trouble concentrating, becoming easily confused, forgetfulness, trouble completing basic tasks you once found easy, hoarse voice, poor digestion, constipation, depression, insomnia, not feeling rested after waking from sleep and relying on naps to get through the day. And some other common signs of adrenal fatigue include crashing mid-morning or mid-afternoon, feeling tired all day, but more energetic in the evening, and feeling exhausted at night, but not able to fall asleep, which I hear all the time. Okay. As well as postpartum fatigue and depression from the process of childbirth. Fatigued adrenal glands also affect other organs, including your pancreas, your heart, your liver, your brain, and your central nervous system. So when you were talking about the sensitivity to touch, that is the first thing that came to my mind. Oh, the overact, the sensitive central nervous system. Those are your nerve endings on the end of your skin. That's why it's like, ooh, you're sensitive. But if you're experiencing more severe forms of adrenal fatigue, the symptoms could be more of a neurological fatigue, which is what I had. I had the neurological fatigue, which was like,
what do you mean?
So that's when like you can sleep 12 hours a night. You can sleep and sleep and sleep, and it doesn't matter how much you sleep. You just feel like you're the most tired you've ever been in your whole life, and you're gonna like die. You're so tired. So that I had a nickname for that, and it was called Dragon Ass. Dragon Ass. You have neurological fatigue. So what this is caused by is swelling in the central nervous system as a result from a virus, which is usually like a herpes strain virus, with like the Epstein-Barr, which I had a huge Epstein-Barr infection in my system. It's been one of the things that I've been working on significantly to get my health better. Or the shingles virus, one of the shingle virus strains. So the function of the adrenals varies with your emotional stress, environmental factors, and existing health issues in the body. Because of this variability, the adrenals can swing between producing too much hormone or too little hormone. And it's the fluctuating behavior that characterizes genuine adrenal fatigue. So the good news is there are things we can do to help ourselves. Yay! Okay, so how to fix this? When this is something very common that I had and I see as an underlying thread with my clients is blood sugar swings, blood sugar dips. Okay. So I still to this day am a grazer. I nibble every 2 hours. I'm hungry. I need a snack. And I'll have, you know, a banana or an apple or some carrot sticks and hummus or something. And then I eat a large meal pretty much every 3 hours. So when we go more than 1.5 to 2 hours without eating, it causes our blood sugar levels to drop. And then that causes our adrenals to pump out adrenaline and cortisol to fill in for the lack of sugar in the bloodstream. So adrenaline and cortisol are actually corrosive in nature, and their negative effects on the adrenal glands can cause the adrenal glands to become strained, resulting in fatigue, resulting in how we feel, fatigue, weight gain. We have that weight gain. We'll have a sluggish liver, and we'll have other conditions and diseases. So managing your blood sugar levels is really important so that you're not overstressing your adrenal glands and causing them to just produce when they don't need to. So it's important to just have those little snacks like I was mentioning, and I go through some snacks that are great too. So the best eating strategy we can use for preventing and fixing this is to graze every 1 to 2 hours, like I was saying. But depending on the severity of your adrenal fatigue symptoms, or if you're bedridden with fatigue, you may need to graze even more often, like every hour. If you are functioning, but have the symptoms and struggle with this adrenal fatigue, then eating every hour to 2 hours is ideal. So when I was at my sickest, I would always wake up in the middle of the night hungry. And I kept a banana next to my bed. And I would pretty much eat a banana in the middle of the night every single night because my blood sugar levels would drop and wake me up. Have you ever experienced blood sugar issues?
No, and I didn't know that there was a connection between the blood sugar and the way it is related to adrenal glands, the work of the adrenal glands. And thanks for sharing this illuminating content because you know, sometimes, and food is another entryway to our tranquility and equilibrium and balance. So thanks for sharing this, because this is something I didn't know, and I'm really glad that to learn.
Awesome. It gets better. So supplement. So I discovered a supplement. I tried many different adrenal supplements because I told you I lived in the vitamin department. So I was like, okay, I had a suspicion back then that there was adrenal issues going on. I would read about it. I would read about the connection between, you know, low thyroid and adrenal issues and all the hormones and the low libido, all of that. And I remember saying to my doctor in Indo one time, can you test my adrenal glands? I think I have adrenal fatigue. And he's like, that doesn't exist.
Oh.
And I was like, what? I can like Google it. And he's like, that's not real. It's not.
This was your endocrinologist?
Yeah. He literally said that's not a real medical condition, but I could go and like read about it everywhere. And then, so I was so angry because he refused to even talk to me about it. I went home and I looked it up again and I found an article because it was like what I was looking for. And it said adrenal fatigue is not a medically recognized condition. And I was like, unbelievable, you know?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So I don't know because I, you know, haven't talked to a doctor about this in so long because I'm I'm better now, but I don't know if that rhetoric is the same. So it'll be interesting if someone went and asked their doctor, you know, let me know. So I started supporting myself and it helped significantly. And I still use this adrenal support because it is just such a great overall supplement, because it helps manage like stress levels and how your stress affects you physically. So it's called like A-adrenal, and it's made by RLC Labs. But so you guys don't have to go search it up. You can just go on my dispensary and click on my favorites tab under drop down to adrenal health, and I have it listed right there. So it's just maybe 3 clicks away. So you can go to my Instagram bio, it opens up my Instagram link in my bio. It opens up my links to my website, and the first link is my dispensary. And setting up my dispensary was important because I have spent thousands of dollars on supplements, wasted supplements. So I'm able to offer all the same supplements that you can buy at any store, you can buy online. It's all major retailers, but I was able to put a 20% discount in for anyone that wants to go through my dispensary so they can save some money, because I know how it feels. So you can go in there and check it out. When we post this, I'll link it down below in the comments, so it's easier to find. And then one of the things I was surprised about to learn about years ago was on my wellness journey, I learned about not eating eggs.
And not eating eggs?
Not eating eggs.
Okay.
Eggs. And I was like, and I was kind of like, what? You know, because I ate eggs every single morning. Literally, I looked forward to eating eggs every morning. I made them a certain way. They were like juicy and hard, and I put them on toast with avocado, and it was like heaven. I love it. Yeah. So I read it online somewhere that eggs feed the pathogens in your body. And I'd already done my GI map test and knew I was dealing, like I said, with the Epstein-Barr. I was dealing with streptococcus. I was dealing with parasites, funguses, E. coli. And I was like, well, I don't want to give these little bastards that are making me sick anything more that, you know, would like fuel them making, like growing and making me sicker. So I was like, I'll try this. So I cut out my eggs in the morning and I just replaced it with like a smoothie or some gluten-free oatmeal with like fruit cut up with cinnamon and honey. And sure enough, when I cut out the eggs, I started having more energy.
Incredible.
I was like, this is a thing. Okay. You know, so I would suggest cutting out eggs. I never reacted to eggs, you know, like how you react to gluten and dairy. Yeah. Oh, that makes me feel like crap. Yeah. I never had that. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. I love my eggs. I literally kept eating them for a year. And then I was like, okay, I'm not getting better. I like kind of plateaued and getting better. And then I was like, okay. So I finally took the plunge and I miss them every day, but good riddance because I'm feeling better.
Yeah, great. This is great news. I couldn't imagine that eggs feed pathogens in your body. So this is, this is very nice discovery.
Yeah.
And yeah, me too. When I discovered that I was lactose intolerant, I didn't feel anything. Like I said, what? When I had my exam, I said, what? My dietologist asked me to have this exam because she was sure that, you know, sometimes with grapes, gluten intolerance and lactose intolerance are associated, you know, to the disease. And so she asked me to have this test, and then I said, what? I couldn't imagine, and I feel way, way better without lactose. So yeah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah, this thing about the eggs is amazing.
Yeah, and you know, eggs are like promoted big time by other health coaches and stuff. And so when my clients are like, what, you want me to get rid of eggs? I'm like, sorry.
Yeah,
but trust me. So some other foods that that are really great for adrenals in particular are kiwis, asparagus, potatoes, licorice root, tea. Like I can buy licorice root tea bags, or I have a licorice root concentrate that I just squirt in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I get the concentrate from Vimergy. It's VIMERGY.com. And so kiwis, asparagus, potatoes, and licorice root are some key foods that help restore your adrenal strength. And then finally, I suggest building.
Despite what doctors say, because sometimes, many doctors didn't even believe in, they don't even think how precious is the role of food, as you were saying, the connection between what we eat and, the disease, the condition we have.
Yeah.
It's very important that you're bringing this to light.
Yeah, it's huge. That's why I'm a nutrition coach, but I specialize in thyroid illnesses because nutrition is absolutely the key, the first key to the foundation of your health. And that's why in my month one reveal and clear, it's all about, we start with like a food tracking system, because I realize a lot of women are completely out of touch with themselves. They don't even realize what they're eating. They just kind of eat, and get through the day. So when you make someone actually sit down and write and look at what they're eating and then analyze it and talk about it, you have a lot of whoa, okay moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's powerful. I love that tool. So finally, I suggest building into your morning routine, either listening to some health affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
I went on YouTube and I found that there are all kinds of amazing affirmations for calling in and restoring healthy intimacy, because this definitely does affect the mindset as well. And
I like this word, healthy intimacy. I really like this word. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And so you could either, there's two different ways that I incorporate affirmations in my day. I either will journal out some affirmations, or I will listen to them depending on my time frame. Of course, it's easier to listen to affirmations, so I'll put them on like on my phone when I'm showering really fast or something, and as I'm listening to them, I will really focus on them and I will repeat them in my mind. I'll repeat them out loud. And because what you say, what you think, you call in, you bring into your life, and so if you are desiring to have more healthy intimacy, instead of saying, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it this, stop the negative, bring in the positive. I'm so happy and grateful I have healthy intimacy again. I'm so thankful for my sex drive. I'm so grateful that I was able to make love to my man last night, bring in the positive, kick out the negative. So also when I was exploring what was on YouTube, there are all kinds of really great guided meditations that you can put on when you're going to bed, or if you have 15 minutes in your day, there's some guided meditations you could put on. Close your eyes, and they're all about a healthy libido and healthy sex life. And I was like, this is great. There's all kinds of so really, like I said, call that into you, bring it in, open up to it, receive it, allow it, love it. And that will really, so if you start working on the mental, emotional aspect of it, bring in the healthy foods, get the supplement, you're kind of hitting all levels of it. And that really, really helps.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much for sharing this very interesting and illuminating content. I mean, it makes a huge difference not to be alone in this, and I'm really glad that we could share like these content, and I'm really grateful for having had this conversation with you, and I have a lot of stuff to think about when we will close this call and this call, because you know give me a lot of information, and so I'm gonna check more, and not check, search more on the internet, and explore these these aspects that you mentioned related to the functioning of adrenal glands. I'm really interested in the you know the implication of these glands. So yeah, thanks for everything, and also for sharing parts of your story. And
Yeah, thank you. This was really wonderful. And I, just really want to help the entire community and be the spokesperson to shed some light on what everyone's thinking and feeling, but no one's saying. And I'm actually really excited. I had I call it like some divine inspiration the other day, and I'm so excited to get this going. But I'm going to start a new series on my channel called Thursday Thyroid Talks. And it's going to be live interviews with anyone that's interested.
Cool.
With
I like it.
any sort of thyroid illness. And it's not going to be an interview. It's just basically going to be women sharing their stories and sharing their experiences, what they're going through. Because I really feel like even though we have each other online, there's still a disconnect and we still feel alone. And I want to do this as a way to bring everyone together more. And I feel like if I go live with it so people can see you and hear you and feel you, then it'll really help you feel like you're not alone. You're not going through this alone. And I also hope people will be able to reach out to each other and be like, your story really touched my heart. Thank you so much for sharing. And then we can forge friendships.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And I just wanted to add that I'm sorry for not sharing my face, but as I was saying to you, I feel more at ease like right now doing this. So maybe in the future we will see each other. I'm working on this. And so thanks for your time and everything.
You're welcome. And I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Nice to see you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.